Alright, what's up y'all, LakerFan here. As we're about to title today's video, we are here to talk about how tall is too tall for a center in NBA 2K24. So, now that we've played the game a couple of weeks, it's been about 2, I can confidently bring this video to you guys as far as my competitive ideas as far as what is going to be doable, what is not, and what is going to be perfect in 2K24. So, for 7'3s, I gotta say, this is just not even creatable in this game. So as you can see, if you try and go down on the weight to kind of, I'll put it like this. For bigs, you usually want to just utilize whatever you can get for rebounding and use that as your weight threshold, and then be like, well, I'll go down to whatever I need to go to and then maintain the best speed possible. Well, that's in years past at least, because now in this year, you need strength. You definitely need speed as well, because you can't come out here with 55 speed, bro. I'm telling you, if you want to play any type of viable defense other than just sit in the paint on the rec in a 2-3, then you're going to need way more than this type of speed on this build right here. So, as far as like that even being viable in the first place, you can't do that because, like I said, you don't want to go with around 73 strength on a 7'3. That sounds terrible and stupid, and obviously it's going to hurt you in terms of your box out badges. Like, you literally will get box out beast on silver on a 7'3 minimum weight. You're obviously only going to get bronze brick wall. Your removable enforcer is going to be terrible as well. So 7'3s are pretty much extinct in this game. I would not recommend even looking this way at all. Now, as far as, let's talk about the speed ratios for all these heights. So as you can see, we'll just use this as the example. So I'm going to go at 7'3, 7'2, 7'1, and I'm going to go to the minimum weight to show you guys a more realistic sense of what you're going to be looking at as far as the speed. Now, don't think that means I'm saying you should make a minimum weight center or anything like that. I just want to give you a better look at the speed to height ratio. So at 7'3 minimum weight, you're looking at 55 speed. Keep that number in mind, obviously. So 55 speed, you go up to 61 at 7'2. So you can gain 6 speed through just 1 inch of height right there. So then from 61 down to 7'1, you're going to be going from a 61 speed to a 67. So another 6 speed. So that's 12 speed for 2 inches of height in this game, and that goes a long way. And obviously we'll get to it in a second, but 7'1 is pretty competitively viable. But then 67 speed all the way from 67 to 73, so you're getting another 6 speed again, going down to 7 foot. And then if you go to the 6'11 from 73 speed, you're only gaining 2. So as you can see, the height to speed ratio as far as what is going to be the best physical freak position in terms of what you're going to get in terms of height and speed combo, and then obviously you can still pair weight into that and get more strength as well. 7 foot is where it's at as far as that goes. I mean, if we make the most physical freak ability type build that we have, and I ironically have the build myself as well, you can see a 7 foot 246 with a max wingspan is going to get 67 speed, 90 strength, 83 vertical even still at a 7-footer, and you still maintain the ability to even get 99 defensive rebound if you would like. If you're not that interested in brick wall and a movable enforcer on gold, you could even go down to an 84 strength right here. Or if you're not even interested in obviously like the bulldozer aspect of this, or obviously box out beast comes with this too, so you kind of have to balance that a little bit. But you could go down to 82 if you really only want a movable enforcer, and then you'd be looking at 70 speed on a 7-footer. Now, I don't recommend that. Personally, I think it is smart to go with that 90 strength right there and get exactly this right here, the 246 7-footer, 710 wingspan. I got a build on the channel exactly like this. If you guys want to check it out, feel free to. But we're going to continue talking about the heights above 7 foot, and then we'll also talk a little bit in this video about what's below 7 foot as well. So if you guys enjoyed the video, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on noties, all the good stuff. And like always, try to 2,000 likes. So to get back into this with the 7'2", as far as like it being usable, I guess you could argue usable, but you're gonna have a hard time rationing this stuff out between the strength. Like, you're not gonna be able to get the gold immovable. If you go for the gold immovable, you're looking at 53 speed. That's pretty OD. Like, you're gonna have a hard time with that. Now, if you want to talk like the best build you could possibly make to be a down low interior anchor, I think 7'2 and 7'1, they do make a little bit of sense, but it's not really going to make too much sense in terms of comparing this to a 7-footer in my opinion. Now 7'1 has some viability to it. I think this could be a decent build potentially. So as you can see, the driving dunk doesn't really get to a level that's going to be, very appealing at all. So I'm going to say that you would probably just want driving dunk pretty low on a build like this. And also, if you happen to try and want to be a popper with these tall bigs, I probably don't recommend that either, because in my opinion, if you want to be more of a stretch big, you're gonna have to go a little bit lower on the wingspan, and that kind of breaks the ideology between what you want to do with these super tall bigs. So 7'1" is definitely okay. Like, it's not too far off anything that 7-footer is going to provide, besides maybe driving dunk, some ball handle ability, and a little bit of perimeter D here and there. But for the most part, the 7'1" doesn't lose out on much of anything besides the physicals. The physicals is where you take a big loss. So as we already mentioned, with the 7-footer, you're looking at 67 speed, you got 83 vertical, and you can still maintain that 90 strength. So while keeping that strength level at the exact same of 90, again, it's going to gain you the 7 speed and 4 vertical. So I believe, yes, to answer your guys' question of this video title, very simply put, it's going to be the 7-footer as far as like the best height you could possibly be. Now, you may ask, well then, what is worth being below 7 foot? Like, why would I go 6'11"? Why would I go 6'10"? Or even if I want to be a super undersized, is it viable in this game as well? I believe yes. I truly believe if you make a center build that is 6'8", 6'9", you can hang in this game, in my opinion. I think interior defense is very good, like mash defense and, you know, driving, dunk, stopping and stuff like that is very good. If your physicals are like out of this world and you want to be the type of center where it's like on some Bam Adebayo or even running like a Ben Simmons type center in this game, I see a lot of competitive viability with that. I think your versatility speaks a lot in this game. If you want to go super heavy on a 6'8" or a 6'9" and maintain all those crazy badges between, let's just go ahead and show you what you can get with them. Obviously, like, you know, I didn't tweak anything as far as the weight, so we might not be competitively viable in terms of the perimeter defense rating, even though, come to find out, 85 is a really good one in my opinion, for the reason of you're going to be able to get challenger at 82 right here, and then you're going to be able to get like even pick dodger and clamps right here as well. 85 is looking really good. So let's say you want it to be like some really undersized freak though. You want to have like crazy good block. We'll give you the 92 block, or maybe even 94, because actually what you can utilize off the fact that you are going to be a little undersized is that you can get your chase down artist to a really high level. So you can see you need block, speed, and vertical for this. So let's go ahead and just max out your speed, and as you can see, like with a build height like this, and again, this is not a lot of tweaking and modification, because I would probably recommend less than 250 personally, but I'm just going through here really quickly. The things that are like really reasonable for you to be a 6'9" center are the fact that you can keep things like this. You can keep clamps, challenger. If you went down lower on the weight, you could get fast feet at 70 acceleration as well. You don't get 94 feet because you need to be 6'8" for this. So if you wanted to be involved in like some form of press, or if the 6'8" height intrigues you, what you actually could do is be a little bit of a matchup nightmare. So I did this on my main build. It's not these freakish levels of defense that you can see right here listed, but I did give my build an 83 offensive rebound for the silver rebound chaser, and then I still gave it a 92 block for the gold anchor. If you want to go for that Hall of Fame chase down, I think it's actually pretty viable, and I've found that it's a little bit easier to maintain than I thought it would be. But either way, again, like one of the perks to being this short is that you have the speed, vert, and block ratio that you're going to need as far as getting that chase down artist, and that you can get elite badges like this. So I mean, we're talking silver fast feet, Hoff challenger, gold clamps, you got gold 94 feet. You could even play on ball defense if you want, and that's the, like, you know, that's the idea behind this build right here, is you want to be able to play on ball D, switch everything. You're gonna be playing as the kind of center in a way for your team. Stretch bigs are really good in this game too. So what I found is a very viable lineup is on some like Hito Turkoglu type build, like a 6'10", 6'11" stretch big that can handle the ball, and that would be at a position technically above you. So we'll call it, like, you know, if you're at the 3, we'll call it the 4. If you're at the 1, we'll call it the 2. Like whatever you happen to be on for park or rec or pro-am or anything like that. A build that is bigger than you, that can handle the ball, and you can be the pick and roller, you can be the slasher, dominating on the interior, the undersized inside big man that can still, you know, dominate the smaller guards, you can still dominate on the offensive rebounds, and you can dominate them on the defensive side of things too, with you having elite perimeter defense and the ability to guard pretty much anybody in the game. And you could switch everything. If your counterpart that is that stretch big, or maybe you have just like a, in a 5v5 sense, you have like a really elite defender that you can play with as well, and you can switch everything. I think that style of defense is elite in this game, because honestly, it's very hard to mash these smaller bigs right here, like the 6'8" and the 6'9" and stuff like that. And as I've mentioned before already, all these badges that, you know, get added into here off like being height capped at other heights, it definitely does go a long way as far as these undersized bigs. So let's come back to something that's a little bit more reasonable to be a center in people's mind, right? So we have like 6'10", 6'11". What is the reason to make these builds in this game? For a 6'10", I think it's to be a dribbling big. Like if you want to have, let's say, as you can see, 75 plus ball handle. The speed with ball does not give you anything in particular. I still would recommend the normal dribble style, no matter what you are as far as like being a big man. And I guess that's another thing as far as what's a reasonable thing to be a 6'8" for. You get the really good dribble styles of like the Magic Johnson at 75, where you can really like be pretty quick and crafty with it. And I know a lot of you guys have probably been wondering where my 6'8" gameplay is at. I will say I'm loving the 7-footer so much that I've just been playing on it a ton, but that's not to say that the 6'8" is unusable in terms of being a big man. It's just a little bit disappointing in terms of like the driving dunk that I gave it. So for those who are new to the channel, I gave it 97 driving dunk, and it's very underpowered in my opinion in this game. So if you wanted to go with something along the lines more like 90 or something like that, if you're recreating a build, I think you definitely could make it more defensively viable and make it a crazy like switch everything beast, and really good rebounder as well. But anyway, as far as like what you want to settle on for 6'10", I guess it depends on if you want bulldozer or not, but either way, these little fine tunings on the weight don't really matter that much for the 6'10s. I'm considering making a 6'10 just for the fact that it'd be fun to dribble with like 76 ball handle and come out here with like a bronze hyperdrive or something like that. As you can see though, you lose that at this little combo right here of the speed with ball dropping below 69. You have to keep the speed with ball, and unfortunately that means the brick wall cannot be attained, and you'd have to do something dumb like lower the wingspan. As you're going to see, it actually would let you do that. You can keep hyperdrive and brick wall on silver and bronze right there, as long as you went down 1 on the wingspan, even though you're very likely making this appear inside. And let's talk about that real quick as far as the bigs. So for the center role, like a true inside center or outside center, I don't believe the outside / popper type builds are really viable in this game, personally. I will say, if you want to go a little bit more undersized, like around the 6'10", 6'9", 6'11", stuff like that, and you are going to be lacking in something in the build, obviously, whether it's the finishing ability or the lack of really elite pass accuracy, and I gotta say that has been amazing to play with on that 7-footer so far. Or you might be lacking in one of the rebound categories. You might be a purely bad offensive rebounder just because you're a shooter, so you decided that you'd rather have defensive rebound than offensive because you're not going to be hanging around the rim quite as often on offensive rebound attempts. You're going to be stretching the floor and popping quite a bit. And you know, I will say the value of spacing is still there in this game, 100%, but it's hard to space the floor. I'm seeing a lot of people, man, and I'm trying to preach to you guys with this stuff. I'm not here to be biased on my inside center style and try and convert a bunch of people over. I'm just seeing a lot of these builds that are coming out here as a center, and they can't shoot the ball, bro. They're shooting 20% from 3 or like 24% from 3, and you can literally just almost leave them open for the most part throughout the whole course of the game, and they can't hit, bro, at all. So I'm here to tell you that much, that I believe the 7-foot insides are really dominating this game. And if you wanted to make something more like a 6'10 inside, and you happen to be someone that wants to put the ball on the floor and dribble, feel free to. I think that's a pretty viable thing to do. Now, let me put you guys on to, if you're a stretch big though, what I really do believe is what's dominating this game in terms of like a stretch 4 type build. And that's why I say that particularly, I believe you need to be more along the lines of a stretch 4, not a stretch 5, because the 5s, I really do think you're going to want to be able to, you know, carry the load a little bit on the rebounding aspect of things, or be a more somewhat viable interior defender. You don't want to come out here and anchor the bottom of a 2-3 with a build like this. But I'm not going to lie, I mean, the way the interior defense is playing in this game, you maybe could, but you're going to have to go up a little bit on the weight right here if you want to be like a viable rebounder. I think I would suggest to go with the 222 and at least get 83. If you want to push it up to the 85 for the defensive rebound, you could. I guess technically what would come with this too is to get that immovable enforcer on gold, which I think is fire. Like, just so you guys know, just because you're making a build that's a 6'11 doesn't mean you can't guard ball. Like, I really do want to encourage you guys to go into this with the mindset of, if I'm making a build that's 6'11, can it guard the perimeter? Because you're going to want to in this game, in my opinion. Because again, the interior defensive ability in this game is pretty good. Like if you go with the 70, with the 87 block and the 72 interior defense, maybe more like 74 for that bronze post lockdown right there, you're looking at a pretty viable build in terms of hanging out down low. And again, like we're talking 90 strength, bro. You're going to be able to get that gold box out beast, silver rebound chaser, gold immovable enforcer. We're still looking at good speed, good excel, and you know, the vertical is probably going to be pretty mediocre, because what's also nice about making these undersized stretch bigs and stuff like that is you could come out here with like a good ball handle, maybe like the speed with ball can get you that big driver on Hall of Fame. You're looking at like a decent pass act of like maybe 86 or so, and check this out. So now we got the Agent 3, we got mid-range going through the roof as well. 94 is useless, but 93 will get you some like crazy badges. Like let's take a look at this. You got catch and shoot, blinders, deadeye, open looks on Hall of Fame, guard up, dream shake. You got, like, we'll get to the dream shake in a second actually, because we're gonna do the post control too. But I mean, look at this stuff, man. It's an insane build. It's looking really good. You got 50 standing dunk, you got 65 driving, you can get them athletic hangs off one. I mean, it's got almost everything in the book as far as what you could possibly need, and it's more of a stretch 4 rather than a stretch 5. That's all I'm trying to get at, is that, like, you want to be able to handle the ball, shoot from 3. You can absolutely do everything you want to with a build like this too, because you're able to afford your wingspan being low, because you're not really trying to be the type to do the tanker in the defense. You don't really care if, like, you know, you'd have the super crazy level of interior D. Now, can this build still play the 3 in Park? Absolutely. I still think, like, Park, with the way slashing is and like how useless mashing is in terms of, like, let's say 3s or something like that, it's not a big deal. If you want to bring this type of build on to 2s, I would recommend it to be more of a point guard role, and you could play with a center, and then no one's going to come out here with a lockdown at the 1 unless they have a toxic, like, post lock combo, anything like that. But that's about all that would give you issues with a build like this. And with that, your type of lineup can switch everything. You can both guard, double ISO. I mean, it's a really elite level of defense with this build because of the fact that Golden Movable plays really good in terms of playing defense. I mean, this badge does not play. It's the best badge in the game defensively. And you can still both rebound, most likely. You can still both guard the perimeter. The Bronze Challenger is not to be slept on, and I've been out here guarding ball on 67 perimeter D on my 7-footer with no challenger, and it's been pretty immaculate, bro. It's actually insane how well that build can play defense. And again, it's mainly because of a movable. And I gotta say, the post control is very cheap, so if you wanted to come out here on a ball handling build like this as a stretch big, post control, you can still get this to 92 and get that gold unpluckable. And with that comes a couple other badges, not anything super crazy. It's just post spin, dream shake, and unpluckable for the most part. And then I guess technically you could unlock post playmaker at Hall of Fame, but you need a higher pass act. But yeah, I mean, this is a pretty sweet build right here, bro. And it's all because of the fact that, again, you're not really trying to be like a crazy anchor interior defender type build. So anyway, we pretty much went over everything in today's video. We talked about, obviously, how like 7-3, 7-2, 7-1 is kind of the extinct category. More so 7-3, 7-2. 7-1 is like okay, but it's not super crazy. 7 foot is the athletic peak, where if you want to make an inside big man, 7 foot is looking real sweet, where you have that 67 speed, 90 strength, 83 vert combo. You still got all the type of stuff you're going to want in terms of being a viable perimeter defender. I mean, like I said, you don't get badges for it, but it's the level of like speed and perimeter D that you can at least hang out there, and you can absolutely, if you got the stick for it, play some crazy on-ball D with it. But anyway, yeah, then 6'11", more of the stretch height in my opinion, and you could still be a pretty solid ball handler with that 70 ball handle. 6'10" being the really good ball handling one if you wanted to be like a hybrid, and then 6'8", 6'9" for the fact that you could be elite ball handling while still having crazy versatility on the perimeter and interior defense. So that's the video. If you guys enjoyed, feel free to drop a like, sub if you're new, turn on noties, all good stuff. And like always, try to one with 2,000 likes. If you made it to the end of the video, put your favorite height of these bigs in the comments between 6'8", 6'9", 6'10", 11, 7 foot. If you somehow are someone that's still a fan of the 7'1", 7'2", 7'3", feel free to leave that in the comments as well. But anyway, that is all for video. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I obviously I appreciate you guys listening to me giving any info or insight on what I feel as far as what is the best way you can possibly play in this game. And I just want to put people on to, you know, like helpful things that will give them some insight on that. So anyway, that's all for video. Hope y'all enjoyed. Other than that, take it easy, man. Peace.